Hello and welcome to The View from North Fulton. I'm Fulton County Commissioner Liz Haimes from District 3 and so happy that you are joining us today. In 2008, Fulton County voters approved a library bond referendum of $275 million for the Atlanta Fulton Public Library System's building program. The plan will greatly enhance all of the county's libraries, and the project is divided into two phases. Phase 1 of the approved bond for the library building program consists of 10 projects with 8 new libraries located in Alpharetta, East Roswell, Milton, Northwest Atlanta, Palmetto, Southeast Atlanta, Stewart Lakewood, and Wolf Creek, and 2 expanded libraries, Auburn Avenue Research Library and the library in South Fulton. The total budget for the first phase is $167 million, and these dollars include everything from design and construction to funding for the initial collections. Design has begun on a majority of the projects, with construction to begin in late 2013 through 2014, and openings of the libraries will begin in late 2014, continuing into 2015. Phase 2 will then begin upon the completion of Phase 1 and includes the renovation of 23 libraries. But this show will concentrate on the 3 of the Phase 1 building projects, Alpharetta, Milton, and East Roswell, all in North Fulton County. So my guests today on the show are Ann Haimes and Al Collins. Ann Haimes is the interim director of the Atlanta Fulton Public Library System. She's been with the library system for 39 years, and prior to that, she worked at the University of Florida Library and as a freelance journalist. At our library system, she has served in many capacities, including children's librarian, branch manager, and most recently, branch group manager. She has stepped in and filled the interim director's position at a very critical time during this building process and has been working together with Al Collins to create the kind of library that will fulfill the needs and desires of the residents of each individual community. Al Collins is the Assistant Director of Building Engineering for the library projects. He brings 38 years' experience in architecture and the construction industry. This position requires him to be responsible for the day-to-day management of the library capital improvement program in Phase 1, as well as communicating with county commissioners, the county manager, and department directors on matters involving the design and construction of the library capital improvement projects. In the second half of today's show, Ann Haimes will be sharing news about the summer reading program in our libraries. It's a lot of information, so please stay tuned to share the exciting things going on in your Fulton libraries. Don't go away. Welcome back. Joining us today is Ann Haimes, Interim Director of the Atlanta Fulton County Library System. Also with her is Al Collins, who is the Assistant Director of Building Engineering for the library projects. Welcome to you both. So glad to see you and have you here today to talk about our exciting new library projects. As you are very well aware, but we want to make sure that our citizens know, the bond for the library projects, the construction, was approved in 2008. That calls for 3 libraries in North Fulton. 2 would be in District 3, Milton and Alpharetta, and 1 will be in East Roswell, District 4. So you're going to tell us all about them today, and we're very excited about that. Can you tell us, though, just give us an idea of what the size of the libraries, Ms. Haimes, and what exactly we're doing?
Certainly. Their Alpharetta and Milton libraries are 25,000 square foot libraries, and the East Roswell Library is a 15,000 square foot library. This is, as you said, part of the facility master plan that was developed by the Library Board of Trustees and accepted by the Board of Commissioners, and then approved by the voters of Fulton County in 2008.
And each library is going to be unique to the individual community, is that correct?
That's correct, Commissioner. Of course, there are certain features that, you know, each library is going to have a children's area, each library is going to have public meeting space. But the really beautiful thing about this program is that we were in the community, asking questions of the community, meeting with the community. We had 37 meetings before the bond referendum was approved. Mm-hmm. And then we had meetings in each community where a new library was to be built in the spring of 2011. And during those meetings, people told us what they wanted to see inside their building and what kind of building they were interested in having, how they wanted to use it. And that informed how the buildings were designed.
So, for instance, if a community wanted to have a special auditorium area or a special outdoor reading area or maybe a porch where people could go read, those kind of things were taken into consideration.
All of those things were taken into consideration. Quiet reading space, special spaces for the children, and as you said, outdoor space. People were really excited about all those opportunities.
So here we are. We're getting ready to break ground this summer on these 3 projects, and so let's share them with the community. Mr. Collins, I think the first one we'll talk about is Milton. Tell us a little bit about that project.
Well, that's a very exciting project, Commissioner. Milton is of course, on an old farm site in its location, and the community was very excited about the farm buildings that originally occupied that site and wanted to see some of that character retained and included in the construction of the new Milton Library. And so the architects were given the kinds of information that we gathered from the community along with the formal building program as their instructions on how to develop the design for Milton. And we've come out with a very exciting design that includes areas for meeting spaces so that can be open to the community without the library necessarily being open. Having references to rural farm buildings and equestrian themes was very important to the community, and you can see that the design sort of reflects that. It has the barn-like aesthetic, and this is a view taken from the main streets.
Now it's located at Mayfield and Charlotte Drive, correct?
That is correct. That is correct. And that's the view that you're looking at here from the intersection of Mayfield and Charlotte, looking back at the building.
So this would be the front entrance or the front view, but the parking is in the rear.
The parking is in the rear, and it was important to the community to shield the parking away from the view of the community as you pass by the front of the building. And so this is a view from the rear of the building, and it shows the entrance into the library. And the silo that you see there, the stone silo, another reference that was important to the community, is the main entrance into the library. To the left is the main reading rooms. To the right are the community rooms for the library.
And as far as the site selection, that particular site has a lot of large trees on it, and I know that that's a big concern of both the community and ours, and we're working as much as we can to save those trees.
We are. We have identified a number of trees on the site that are very large oaks that we are going to preserve, and the design of the library has been worked around those trees in the parking as well, so that those trees will be preserved and will be a part of that site and the community ongoing.
And there's an old barn on the site as well.
That is correct.
What's happening with that barn?
The barn is a very interesting barn. It's been on the site since the early 20s, and the community again thought that was a piece of the architecture of that land that they wanted to preserve. And so we've identified a space a place on the site where that barn can be relocated. And we can rehab it, and it can be a part of the educational experience of the entire library experience on that site.
Exciting, exciting. Well, we've also got a Alpharetta library that is going to be built this summer, and it is very different from the Milton Library. It's going to be part of the Alpharetta downtown city center redesign. And tell us about that building.
Yeah, it is a very different site. In the case of Alpharetta, it's a more formal site in that it's on the same site as the City Hall that's being developed and proposed by Alpharetta. And so one side of the building faces the City Hall and has a more formal presentation, if you will. And as such, it was deemed appropriate that we give it more traditional detailing. So that it had a real connection to the buildings that are being planned for that site. And this is a rear shot of the building, and it's a little less formal. This is the primary entrance for those that might drive to the site that might want to drop off or pick up someone from the library, and this is the view that you'll see. So it's a little less formal, but it also incorporates a lot of the same kind of traditional detailing that we see in the City Hall, and I think we're going to have a library that really does work well with its surrounds.
In this particular project, we are really working closely with the City of Alpharetta, and we're sharing a parking deck with them.
That is correct.
They actually donated the land that we're using because they wanted us to be a part of their city center. So it's very exciting. Let's talk about what's inside the building. Give us an update on that.
Sure. The inside of the building is really exciting. There's going to be an auditorium, which it's the only library in the building program that has a fixed seat auditorium, and they also have meeting space, study rooms. The children's area is going to be awesome. It's going to be a separate area where the children will be able to have story time, craft programs, and enjoy computers and even outdoor programming with their with the children's librarian. There is a study room, place for holds, a place for the bestsellers, all on the floor where citizens can walk right out into the Alpharetta City Center or come in from the City Center. It's going to be very exciting.
Well, one of the beautiful things about that particular location is that there's a garden in between our building and the City Hall that's a public garden. And we have a veranda that's going to overlook that garden and a reading area. So there's going to be a lot of time for enjoying nature at both of these libraries as part of the experience. So I want to thank you both for incorporating those concerns that the community indicated were important to them into the design of the buildings. I think that both of these buildings are very unique, but offer what the community asked for. So it's exciting, very exciting. And there's also a public art component, I believe, with both of these buildings?
There is. The Fulton County has a public art process. 1% of the budget for the capital improvement budget for these buildings will go towards a public art piece or pieces for these libraries. And there's a community, a public art community managed by the Arts Council, which works with community members, librarians, and the architects to select an artist whose design will be recommended to the Board of Commissioners, and if approved by the commissioners, will become the piece of public art at each of the libraries.
But again, community members from each library community are participating in the selection of the art that will reflect that particular community.
That's correct.
That's very exciting. We will be back in a few moments to find out about the Roswell Library and then talk about the summer reading programs for our children. So don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back. So, Mr. Collins, we have a third library in North Fulton that's going to be at East Roswell, Holcomb Bridge, and
Fouts Road.
Fouts Road. And that one is also unique to the needs of or the desires of the East Roswell community. Can you tell us about that building?
Yes, Commissioner. That building is placed on a site that offers some really exciting opportunities. And as we provided the architects with their instructions on this site, they were able to take advantage of those opportunities. For example, the site is heavily wooded, and it slopes off pretty substantially from one side to the other. This is a view of the site. And the architect really took its cues from the site. You can see that the canopy for the building resemble tree trunks, and that was the idea, is to really take advantage of the site and mimic some of those features on the site in the architecture. As the site slopes off, the building becomes a two-story building where we can tuck the mechanical spaces below. And what happens in this instance, it gives an opportunity for the reading rooms to really move out over the two-story space and be in the canopy of the trees. So as you're sitting there and you're reading, you're right up in the canopy of the trees and you're part of that site experience. So we're really excited about this library and what it offers.
So almost like being in a tree house.
Almost like being in the tree house. That's exactly correct.
Very exciting. And I believe the bike paths or greenway path comes through the site as well?
That is correct. It's connected to the nearby park, and bike paths that meander through the park will also meander through our site. And in fact, in one instance, cross under the reading room as it is over out into the canopy. And so you'll see a lot of activity on this site. The adjacent park also features, golf, frisbee golf.
Oh.
And so you'll be able to, as you're reading, partake in that activity as well. So a lot of animation on the site given to it by the activities around it.
Interesting. And I know we've also been working closely with the city of Roswell on this particular site. They also were donated that land for us to use for the library.
That is correct. A very gracious gift, and we're excited about making use of it for the library.
Well, it's wonderful when we can partner with our city community, so I know the community is glad that we are able to do that. And then the programming in this library, it's 15,000 square feet. Tell us about the interior and what's going to be offered there.
Well, the interior is as you said, 15,000 square feet. The emphasis during the community meeting and what you'll see when you walk in was very much the programming and the community use of the library. They talked about the community center and the library as a third place in the community during the community meetings. You walk in the front door, you're going to see new materials right up front, the service desk, and then walking down towards the children's room, and I think this is really exciting. Children are actually going to feel that they're walking inside of a tree. There's going to be a piece of art on the floor that will make it seem they're walking into a tree trunk to walk into this room, which then has shelving and furniture that sort of makes it feel like the outside inside. There's going to be a children's program room as well as conference and meeting space for adults, so it's going to be really exciting, and we look forward. I think we'll have a lot of activity being right there in the park with youth and children and families using that library.
And all of the library projects are going to be heavily focused on technology, is that correct?
Absolutely. We'll have public computers, we'll have wireless access. We're having some features in these libraries that we will not have, that we do not currently have in our libraries. Interactive computer screens. We're having tablets. We intend to have tablets for public use, as well as expect our staff to use tablets to provide, I'm hoping, reference services on the go, so you don't have to wait for a staff member or approach a desk. They'll come to you with the tablet and find books for you. We're going to have catalog computers throughout the library as well.
Exciting. I'm glad that we're keeping up and trying to be current. Technology changes so quickly that you're not current for long, but that's good that we're childcoming on that area. Well, summer is coming. You mentioned children programs at Roswell. We have them at all of our libraries this summer. Give us an idea of what you can find at the library this summer for your children.
Absolutely. We're about to start the summer reading program. This year, we have, as we do every year, a summer reading program for children, teens, and adults. And at this library system, we even have a summer reading program especially for babies to encourage families to do interactive pre-literature activities with their children. The librarians are going out into the schools and out in the community promoting the summer reading program now, because starting June 1st, we'll have a slate of programs and activities for the children at our libraries. Starting on June 1st, children can come in and sign up for summer reading. They'll be given a log, and they can record the books they read. Once they complete the log, reading 10 books, they get a certificate. They get their name on the wall at the library, which is, everybody loves to come in and see their name on the wall. And they get to enter the drawing for the grand prize. This year, 5 lucky children and teens will win a tablet so that they can have their own e-reader. And I think that's an exciting prize and very, very much something the parents appreciate as well as the children. As we're encouraging the children to read during the summer, we also guide them. We provide the school reading list so that if children have a required reading list for school, they can find the list and find the materials on that list at the library. We have the hold system available so that if the book is checked out from their library, they can always get it sent there. And then we have a slate of programs from story time for the youngest children to Zoomobile visits, craft programs at every one of our branch libraries. And of course, the piece de resistance for the summer reading program is the summer reading kickoff, which is scheduled to begin the first week in June at the branches in North Fulton.
And what is the kickoff?
The kickoff program is a day-long program where usually there's a magic act or a storyteller or a special craft program. Children come, sign up for summer reading, enjoy craft activities, games. I know at the OC library they're having, because the theme for summer reading is dig into reading, they're having a special archaeology Arcobus, I think it's called, where the children can learn a little something about archaeology. And then, as if that wasn't fun enough, they're going to have a water balloon toss.
Oh, wow. I'm sure that's going to be outside, right?
Yes, not in the library.
Good planning on that one. Okay, so the theme is dig into reading?
Yes, it is.
Very, very cool. Yes. I like that. You mentioned the Zoomobile. Tell us about that.
We have a partnership with Zoo Atlanta, and we actually started that partnership last year, and it was so successful that we've done it again this year. We and other libraries in the state of Georgia partner with Zoo Atlanta and provide zoo passes that people can check out, so a family can go with the zoo pass and visit the zoo. And then the Zoomobile comes and visits our libraries, and they have an educator who presents a program about small animals native to Georgia, and the children get a chance to see the animals and learn about them. We'll have Zoomobiles visiting all the libraries, Alpharetta, Roswell, Sandy Springs, and OC, and the Northeast Rural Branch this summer.
You mentioned the Zoo Pass. Tell us about that.
The Zoo Pass is available for checkout at all of our branch libraries. You go into the library, you check out the pass. It's checked out for 7 days, and during that 7 days you can take, I believe it's 5 people to the zoo without charge.
If you have a library card.
If you have a library card, exactly.
Right. Okay, so lots going on this summer. I'm sure that all of this information is on your website so that people can find out about the contest and the various activities that are going on?
It is, and our web address is www.afpls.org. So people can check our website for all of the programs and activities, as well as information about how to register for a library card and our services.
And real quick, we didn't really mention teen programs. You have teen programs too, don't you?
Yes, we do. The teen summer reading program is called Beneath the Surface.
Okay.
And we have a slate of summer programs for teens. The teen reading program reading requirement is 5 books rather than the 10 that is the children's requirement. And again, when they finish and complete their reading program, they have a chance to win an e-reader. We have activities for the children at each of the libraries, for the teens at each of the libraries, and you can find a list of them on our website.
So something for everyone.
Something for
Fabulous, fabulous. Well, thank you so much, both of you, for coming in today and giving us a glimpse of what our future holds for us in North Fulton with our new libraries and also with the summer programs. I know that you will be very busy this summer with both areas, and I appreciate all you do. So thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you very much.
And good luck with everything. So please stay tuned. We'll be right back with our final thoughts. Our libraries have become community centers with a great variety of programs and activities. You can find a complete list of the programs on the website at afpls.org. The summer reading program is gearing up, and it sounds like it will be loads of fun and a great adventure for our children. I hope that you will include some of these wonderful activities in our library system in your summer plans. Libraries have become community places where people can meet and where library staff will make you feel like the library is your space and make you feel genuinely part of your community. People of all ages can practice lifelong learning with easy access to archives of information. As approved by Fulton County voters in 2008, we will be breaking ground on the new library buildings in the coming months for the North Fulton branches in Alpharetta, Milton, and East Roswell. They are going to be a great enhancement to North Fulton, and we will keep you updated on the building progress at www.afpls.org. That's my view. What's yours? You can contact my District 3 office at 404-612-8213. Reach me via email at liz.houseman@fultoncountyga.gov or find me on Facebook. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time right here on The View from North Fulton.